Hey everybody, I'm going to just play around, make a resin tray, see what I can come up with. 26 ounces is what I'm going to mix up. I'm going to do 13 of B first, medium viscosity. Okay, I poured 14. We will go with 28 ounces. Always use safety goggles or glasses, gloves, well ventilated area. At least something to cover your nose and mouth, or a full face mask, just to be on the safe side. But we're going to mix for 6 minutes. When you're mixing, speed is not the issue or the goal. It's not a race. Just go back and forth and around the edges, and it can be slow. It doesn't have to be fast. So we're going to mix for 6 minutes. Okay, it's been 6 minutes. This is a 9-ounce cup, so I'm going to pour maybe about 8 ounces in there. And this is a 12-ounce cup. That's about 9 or 10. Trying to decide how much I want of each. I want some clear. I'm going to do a mica and then a transparent. I'm going to use Spectrum Dye by Counterculture. It's a set. I've got walnut here, which I'm assuming is brown. Okay, so there it shows it. It is a brown. So I don't know how much it tints, so I'm going to just do a little bit at a time. So very transparent still. So I have brown alcohol ink. I'll put a little bit of that in there as well. That was about 6 drops, I would say. That's RESIN. I don't know if you can see, but there's little tiny bubbles floating up. That's why I say to be cautious and wear a mask, glasses. Still very transparent. See how you can see through it on my stick. I'm going to put another big squirt. So that is, I've used about 1/3 of this little bottle, but it's not more than 10% in this cup of resin, so we should be good. The general rule of thumb is never to use more than 10% in a quantity of resin, so that it doesn't mess with the curing. This one is going to be about 10 or 11 ounces of the Cloud Blue, which I love, 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 by Etsy Funshine Color Shop. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3 spoons. I'm going to fold it into the resin. This is a golden blue. It's called Cloud Blue, but as you can see, it has a golden shimmer. It's just the prettiest blue. Oh, do you hear that thunder? We're supposed to have a thunderstorm tonight. So I'm just continuing to fold it in. Okay, now I'm going to do something I don't typically do either. And that is, I'm going to put this Cloud Blue on the bottom of my piece. I'm just going to take my brush and literally paint this around. Well, I think I don't see it changing really any. I'm going to knock off the powder from my brush into my cup. Cloud Blue, Etsy Funshine Color Shop. Okay, I tried to knock off the excess. And it may come all floating up. I just don't have any idea. I sounded country there, didn't I? My mold, I've used it so many times. It has a tendency to kind of dome up in the center. You can kind of press it down. So it may be time for me to get another mold, but by the time I get 30-something ounces in here, it'll have plenty of weight on it, let me tell you. So we're just going to go for it. So the lumpy brown is in there because of me putting that stupid acrylic paint in there. And actually, this may fill up the whole tray, but that's okay. This lovely cloud blue. Oh well, okay. So it's full. The mold is full. It's like looking into a crater. I wanted it to be even in the middle and it's not, so it's just, it is what it is. Okay, because it's done this, I'm just going to blow it around because it's not going to be even no matter what. I think I should just leave it. This is filled to the max. So in order to make it into a tray with handles, yeah, I'm going to have to top coat it. And it's going to do whatever it wants to do. That's just the way resin is, so I can't control it. No point in me even trying. I'm going to cover it and stop. We'll be back. Okay, it's been overnight. Such a mess I made, I tell you what. It's cool though to pull up pieces, I love it. So it did leave a little bit of the pattern. I was kind of surprised. This is a solid full tray. Okay, so here's the underside, which actually if you put resin on top of that, it would be quite lovely. And as a background, I think I'm going to leave it like this though. These are such beautiful colors together. So I will plan on putting a top coat and knobs. And then here's the little side coaster I made. Cool effect on that one. Probably I might have had some kind of effect like that on this if I hadn't had to move it around so much with overfilling it and it not being level. But that's a really cool pattern. I love the colors. Just really beautiful. So I'll finish this up. I'll be back. So I'm going to top coat this, and I've got some knobs. They're metal knobs, and they're a little dark, and I may put some gold highlights on them after I've let this cure. I've mixed 6 ounces of the fast set resin counterculture. That's the blue label. It starts to set up in 10 or 15 minutes. I've mixed it for 6 minutes. I've got really about 10 minutes to work with it. I do have some coasters, a set from another video. I'm gonna coat these. I like using the fast set because it's thicker and it has less tendency to run off the edges. This has more of an odor than the medium viscosity. Definitely, it also creates more bubbles, so keep that in mind when you're mixing and when you are getting the bubbles out. You don't want a super thick layer that's going to be so thick you got a lot of bubbles left. So I'm just going to quickly coat these. This is actually more than 5 ounces, I would say. I'm going to not pour all of it, just in case it's too much and it wants to flow over the edge. Just to heat it a bit and get the air bubbles out, and then I want to get it spread out to the edges as quickly as I can, but not all the way to the edge. I'm going to do that here shortly, but I want to just disperse it as quickly as I can so it has a chance to be kind of leveling, and it'll get thicker as it sits because it's fast set. And I can see the way I'm sitting, I can see how I get it up to the edge. I don't want to take it over the edge, but I'm taking it right to the edge. And the cool thing about this being on a turntable is I can turn it as I'm pulling it out to the edge. It's very syrupy thick, especially the longer it sits. It's been mixed for almost 6 minutes now. So every minute it gets thicker and thicker. It is really getting thick on the piece right now. If it ever starts to get stringy, then you know you've really reached your limit, and that's going to be a bad situation if you're not totally to your edges and finished. So you have got to work fast with this. I did the coasters first, knowing that I would have just a limited amount of time left to get it spread out. So this is right up to the edge, but not going over. I'm going to go ahead and pour a little bit more in the center because I do have some left. If I'm not going to put all of it, I'll just let the rest of it kind of set up in the cup. So we're at 9 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and put my handles in. And I just want to put them where I think they'll look the best. And then I'm going to press kind of wiggle a bit. It just kind of ensures that they're going to really be nice and tight sealed. So I'm not really moving them away from where I want them. I'm just kind of wiggling and pressing. And then that'll cause a few bubbles. And you just want to make sure that you got it. Now, I don't have any spillover, but I'm just running my finger around just to make sure, and it's not wet at all, so there is no spillage, which is a good thing. Making sure it doesn't touch the tray. making sure I don't touch any edges with my cover. You can use a food net, or this is a deli tray or cake cover. And that way you're not going to mess up your edges. So we'll wait for a couple hours and I'll be able to touch it by then.